Hey everybody, this is Presto,
CorporalNosaj.
and you are listening to episode 108 of the Nintendads podcast, Start Your Engines. We're talking about Mario Kart World Direct and the Triple I initiative that stands for Independent Games. So, grab a drink, kick back, and listen to us yap for the next hour, because this episode is going to be under an hour. You watch.
It is under an hour.
We're
'Cause
manifesting it.
You're listening this in the future tense. Just look down. You'll see right there. Under an hour.
Yeah. Also, because the direct for Mario Kart was 15 minutes and it contained about 2 minutes of news. Not to spoil anything, but it could have been an email. Okay. Right. Boop, 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 boop. Corporal, what are you drinking, sir?
I've got me some. I got a friend in you with some Diet Coke, and I'm drinking my Blue Moon because it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock where we are. I am still on that Victory Beers peach beer.
Okay.
I'm not drinking it just yet, but I'm gonna. You bet your last copper shilling, I'm gonna. What are you playing these days?
Ooh, my friend.
My diet friend, my Diet Coke friend.
What have I been playing actually? So, Little Red and I mashed out some Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Yeah, I always wanted to try that one, but I never got around to it.
Plants vs. Zombies is the mobile game is actually a pretty decent like veg time to have with like you're waiting in line or you're in a meeting, a bunch of execs and they're all talking about how much each other. But it actually is a great like co-op game for you and the little one because you can do couch co-op with Plants vs. Zombies, the mobile game, on Switch or Xbox. But they made this first-person like Call of Duty version shooter, Plants vs. Zombies Modern Warfare, and it so we've
Yeah,
been playing
it
that.
looks fun.
There is so much hidden stuff in this game, so it's still thriving.
Something to sink your teeth into.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I've been playing obviously Monster Hunter Wilds.
Yep.
Although I am starting to run out of things to do.
I mean, that's just because you haven't had to help get me up to where you are. That's all.
Yes, that is my main thing to do is to power you through the rest of high rank. I've been playing. I feel like I've opened a box that can never be closed because
Pandora's?
we added a modded version of Minecraft that we get with our Realm subscription to our Realm server, which Little Red was playing on.
Yep.
And it adds like this one singular mod adds more new decorations and cool features than I feel like Microsoft has added since they acquired Mojang.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like now that I've opened my eyes and my son's eyes to modded Minecraft, it's going to be very difficult going back to vanilla.
Can I tell you, one of my favorite things to do with that particular mod is to build hotel.
Yeah, I can see that.
I have a map on my game, on my console, called Corporal's City, and I have literally built roads and maps. I've built a nuclear reactor that uses sticky pistons to lower the uranium bars into the vat, and then it boils up because lava plates get put down underneath the water, so then it boils. Like, I have gotten deep into it.
That we need to play like hide and seek on that map or something. That sounds fun.
I've rebuilt my own version of Charlotte's Web's barn and Wilbur the pig, and I've built the barn and I've built the area where Charlotte's Web would be and the pig, and I've built the entire farmland that's in the story. I've also built a prison that is as close to scale as possible from what's that famous movie, the prison movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
Yes, I've tried to rebuild Shawshank Prison on this map. And this city has like I've got a Starbucks, I've got a Central
Oh
Park,
my
I've got
gosh.
I've got a UPS shipping center
We
with
might have to explore that.
it's pretty intense.
Yeah, we don't have anything that big, even close to that big.
Well,
Besides modded,
let me get access to your realm. We'll have some fun.
yeah, right. I'll come on. There'll be an entire recreation of my own house.
Yeah.
The other thing I've been playing, which we're gonna get into a little bit later, is Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. This serves as a bit of news too. Baldur's Gate 3 has gotten their final patch, which adds 12 new subclasses, crossplay, and like a million bug fixes and things like that. And you, me, and Yeti are going to finally start our co-op campaign. How many years later? And you have a dice problem.
I do have a dice.
We have the same. You have the same purple turquoise set that I do in there too.
Yeah, I do
That's the
actually.
exact same one. Barnes and Nobles. Oh my
It's
god!
funny because that purple set is my NPC set, and then my bloodied metal set is my monster big bad set.
Ooh, I
And
like it.
then
These are my Deox dice. When I make another D&D character, oh look, that's cool. You can see the reflection
of
of
Mario
the
Kart.
Mario Kart thing.
Then I've got a gummy set, which is my personal set.
Ooh, I like gummy sets. A little too early to get on that, but maybe in a little bit. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know if I'm going to stream it. Probably not. But if you want to see us stream more Baldur's Gate 3, leave a comment. Okay?
April Adventures.
April Adventures.
What's all that?
One other bit of news that I don't know if you've seen yet is Nintendo released an official statement and a press release through its retailers about updated pricing
I knew that was
for the
coming.
Switch. So pre-orders are going to start in a week on the 24th. So a little bit less than a week. You can pre-order on the 24th. And they have, it's a little bit of good news, bad news. Good news is the price of the games and the console is not going to increase. However,
Okay.
the price of everything else is going to increase.
All the
So,
accessories, the plugs, the
yes. So
cameras.
a Pro controller for the Switch 2 is now going to be $85. A pair of Joy-Cons is going to be $95. And the Switch 2 dock set, which is a piece of plastic with the charger and HDMI cord and the built-in Ethernet. So it's a nice dock, nicer than the ones that they previously had. The extra dock is going to cost $120.
Which is a fourth of the
Insane.
cost.
That's it for another like $50 you can get like a base Switch.
Yeah.
Like a base Gen 1 Switch. So this is good news for me because shout out Power A. All the third-party controllers are better than the first-party Nintendo's controllers and have been forever. And I am not even remotely in my wildest dreams buying a first-party dock ever.
I still love my bubblegum blue Power A
Oh no, it's downstairs.
Xbox controller that I got. I use it
Absolutely.
for all of my streams.
I have I do the same thing. I have the Spectra Pro controller, the wired one. It's like getting worn down because of how much I use it.
I also have
So,
my Spectre downstairs, the LED.
yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, a dream. Anyway, so I feel so free living in America with these ultra high prices, but yeah. So at least the console is not any more expensive. So we got the Triple I initiative and we got Mario Kart Direct. Now this is a bit of a unique situation. Hey, relax.
Penny girl.
That's my dog. She's pissed. She's pissed about the higher prices.
I mean,
honestly. All right. So this is an interesting episode because it's been a busy week for us Nintendads.
Sure has. And considering how insanely busy it is, there's been so much that's happening that we've had to split the workload, per se.
Yes. So I caught the Mario Kart World Direct and made some notes. And Corporal caught the Triple I initiative stream and made some notes. Now, I have not seen the Triple I, and he has not seen the Mario Kart Direct. We've only seen each other's notes. So, Corporal, if you want to walk us through the Triple I for this year,
For those of
go
you who
over.
don't know, Triple I is for the indie developers, and it is basically their direct to showcase all of the great, juicy games that are being created by those developers that are out there. And while this direct had a lot of content in it, there's some really quality content in this indie direct. And this is, and I'm sorry to say this, Nintendo, this indie direct, this I Initiative direct, is tenfold better than any of the junk drawer indie directs that Nintendo has given us in the past 2 years.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that's a pretty easy.
It is.
It's not even close. Triple I was the first year they did it was last year, and they blew the roof off. I have some notes from last year. We got Slay the Spire 2, the Ravens Watch final announcement, more details on Hyperlight Breaker, Wizard of Legend 2, 33 Immortals, Prince of Persia,
Yeah.
Rogue.
And I'm gonna burn through some of these games pretty quick. I only have a handful that like really stood out to me as I kind of want to buy these games. But there were some things that are in here that have been around for a little bit, like Outbound, which is a cozy survival game with you in a camper van. There is also Enshrouded that was on here because they've announced their newest update. Yes, it's an indie developer, so they qualify to be here, but the game's been out for a while and it has a big following. So if you want to have that Minecraft survival with a Skyrim feel, Enshrouded is a realistic version of that. It's pretty cool.
Enshrouded is so much fun. My only nitpick about Enshrouded is every time I try to play it, I have to spend like the first 1 or 2 play sessions remembering what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think Enshrouded has gotten so many quality, huge updates and revamps. I feel like I eventually am the next time I really jump into play, I'm just going to start a new game because trying to jump in and getting confused and then backing out is like sort of been my relationship with Baldur's Gate 3 for the last couple of years.
No Man's Sky for me. No Man's Sky.
Yes. Fair. 100%. Anyway,
there is a couple games that are in this that I highlighted simply because they have multiplayer options that are in them. And the first one that I was super excited about was Rogue Core. And it is like a Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core. It is a roguelite spin-off of the Deep Rock Galactic. Features several hallmarks of the genre built with a co-op spin. It has a closed alpha that's out right now, and the game is on early access on Steam. It looks like a lot of fun. The art style is very gritty. It looks really cool.
Is it? I feel like this is like below the stone coded. Like anything that involves like
rock.
Dwarfs digging underground, you're like, I'm in. But yeah, I would play this with you. I would give this a try. I'm looking at it right now.
There's another game that looks like it's a lot of fun. It's not multiplayer that I could see, but it was called Tears of Metal. And the trailer is as if you are a Scotsman just about to go into like the 1700s battle with England fighting for your freedom, but it is the Hyrule Warriors hack and slash style game.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors style stuff.
So cool. So cool. And
Now see,
I
that
love
that
history.
looks up my aisle. That
Yeah,
looks up my alley, not aisle.
I'll. Um,
The Isle of Man.
the next game that really stuck out to me was Escape Sim 2. I didn't even know that Escape Simulator was had a 1, but this game actually looks cool. And it looks like it might have multiplayer cuz it's all about solving puzzles of an escape room and trying to figure a way out. And there is
Mm,
so many different escape rooms. Like you could be lost in space, you're in Dracula's castle, there's a snow forged cabin. Like there are a lot of different
interesting.
escape rooms.
There's a
It,
demo out too on
yeah.
Steam, so
Yep. Um Alters. And I apologize. This might have a bigger name to it, but I couldn't find it. But the uh Triple I video that came out was just Alters, Alters.
yeah, I think it's just called The Altars.
Okay. And basically, the story of this is that you are lost in space on a spaceship, and you're able to make clones of yourself, which they call alternate versions of you. And you ask your alternates to be a miner, be a biologist, and you be an engineer, while I try to repair the ship. But one of my alternates has my memories of my ex-wife, and is deeply in love with my ex-wife, and he wants to call her. The other alternate of me has his teenage rebellion self and wants to create a rebellion on the ship to attack you because he sees you as an overlord figure. While the biologist knows that he's an alternate and decides to cut his arm off because he realizes it's not his real arm, you made it, and he's not really him. Like the psychological psychosis of like being lost in space and being stuck, and you have to keep creating different alternate versions of yourself to do other jobs so that you can do your own job, but you don't know what personality types are going to come out of those alternates, and you've got to keep the alternates alive by giving them food and like, oh, it's it's
That
intense.
I feel like I would rather watch you play
Yeah,
this than play it
it
myself.
sounds like it's a game that could cause some stress inducing, but it looks so good. It really does. Um Dusk Fade, which was a swords cartoonish game. It looked really cool. It reminded me of uh there we go. Steam is trying to launch again in the background without my permission. It looks like Wind Waker, Zelda Wind Waker kind of style, and you just run around hack and slash. It looked really good. Those were the real huge standouts for me of the Triple I. Did you see anything that stood out to you, Presto?
I was marginally interested in Outbound.
Okay.
Maybe I could see
Yep.
myself playing it,
Out
especially with my son.
Outbound looks
It's
very
where you're in
cozy.
a little van life simulator thing. Rematch. I mean, that's the new soccer game, and that wasn't announced, but it
No.
looks like it's getting a launch date in June. I think they have a beta going on right now.
In fact,
That
Rematch gave me some what's the race car game?
Rocket
It
League.
gave me because there's only 3 players on each team and you have to maneuver your way around and up the court, and it's fast-paced kicks with launches. Like it gave me some Rocket League vibes.
It looks good, but I know myself and my expectations, and any game that could potentially be ruined by subpar netcode, I close my eyes and ears until it's been out and people say, "Oh yeah, the netcode's really good." Because if I go down that path and I get interested in this and I get invested and I get excited and then I play it and it has dog doo doo netcode,
Mhm.
Super Smash Brothers, um, and Rocket League, frankly, after Epic did what it did to it and made it microtransaction simulator and took away trading. Um, it looks interesting. It has potential. I need to see that it's really tight and the kinks are ironed out before I get involved. But
Okay.
it looks cool. I'm interested in it.
You know what game I
Um,
thought you would like?
What?
Morbid Metal.
Morbid Metal.
It is a hack and slash action roguelike with brutal music.
Oh, I did see that.
It looked like a
It's
mech warrior hack and slash.
yeah, it's I'm honestly more interested in Tears of Metal. All the roguelikes
Oh,
have metal
yeah.
now
Tears of
in it.
Metal does look really good.
I love Blaze Blue Entropy Effect. I have that already. I've had
Okay.
that for like a year. That's getting some updates, which is amazing. Enshrouded is amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I'm mildly curious about Heroes of Might and Magic coming back
Yep.
because it might be a little too slow and tactical for me, but I'm in that mind space of like Baldur's Gate 3 right now.
Yep.
So that kind of piqued my interest.
Given that we are the
And
Nintendads, there is one game that I thought might be good with the kids, and it's Timberborn.
yes, the beaver
The
thing.
beaver
Yes,
thing.
the beaver
Yes.
thing.
It's a lumberjack, lumberpunk timber game where you, as a family of beavers, build a city with your beaver abilities. And there's real life water mechanics, and it's got some Minecraft-esque building styles. Like it looks cool.
Yeah, the other one is The Eternal Life of Goldman. I can see myself just getting this on sale and playing it just because it looks like a silly little
It's
fun
trippy.
platformer and
Yeah.
the main character is an old man.
With a
And
cane.
that,
That sells it.
yeah.
That sells it.
Old! My back! I can relate. I can relate to that.
There are a couple games in
Um,
here that looked really good, like Over the Hill, um, V Rising, the vampire game. There was also Oakvale, which I don't see on the website list, but I watched it in the video. Um,
yeah.
but I
Endless
mean,
Legend 2 is a really big deal. Nick
yep,
Getty is very excited about that.
yep.
I don't like 4X games still. Sorry, Civ 6 crowd. Y'all forced me to play it, but
Yeah,
yeah, there's definitely some high quality. I would say this didn't blow the doors off in the same way that it did last year, but last year was the first one and it had some really really big like Slay the Spire 2 is like huge thing on its own. And I don't know that there were any like Slay the Spire 2 like levels of epicness in this, but I mean, still a very quality showing. I think normally we would dedicate a whole episode to something like this, but to be perfectly honest, there's only a couple of games in here that I might play. There's nothing in this list that I'm like that I'm playing that.
I mean, I Rogue Core. It depends on how that cost comes out at the end. That does look interesting, especially because it's co-op. I think it would be fun to play with you. I am kind of interested in Tears of Metal just because of the lineage of the Scottish history behind it. Um, and I think those are probably the two that I think Escape Room Sim will come out for free to play with Xbox Game Pass, so I'll probably play that.
Yeah. The two indie games that are on my radar in huge ways that were not on this list, and probably because they've been either discussed previously or they were announced recently, is they're both I'm sorry to be that guy, .emu fanboying over here,
Yeah.
but uh Marvel Cosmic Invasion,
Yep.
the new Marvel beat 'em up. And I know it's like very similar to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I'm getting that game. Whether we get a review copy or whether I have to shell out the money for it, I'm getting it. And also from .emu, have you heard of Absolum?
No.
Absolum is it's like Streets of Rage 4 meets Castle Crashers meets Dungeons and Dragons.
Ooh.
And I am obsessed.
You
I
piqued my
forget when this
interest.
was I forget when this was announced, but it like I saw it and I was like, "Okay, whatever." And then I saw it again on my feed as a .emu title, and I was like, "Oh, what is this?" And then I looked what it was, and I was like, "Holy shit! I need this so bad.
It
Looks
kind of gives
amazing."
me Cuphead art style.
Yeah, it's got a unique art style. And it was nowhere. It was nowhere to be found in this direct, and maybe it's
Interesting.
because they don't have anything new to say about it yet, because it's got a 2025 release window. But I
Dot
mean that.
Anything that has .emu attached to it, it usually is stellar.
Yes, sir.
So
Yeah.
that's all I have
So
to report to you, Presto, about
some high
the
quality
Triple I
indie
stuff.
games coming our way. All right. Well, maybe this should have been the Triple I episode with a dash of Mario Kart Direct, because there was definitely not as much news in the Mario Kart Direct. So let me preface this by saying this was Nintendo's opportunity to show us why this game is worth $80. And I will say that's the thing to keep in mind. This isn't just another direct about another Nintendo game. This is their first $80 game, and this is the game that is going to push a lot of people to either get the console or not get the console, which is also historically expensive for Nintendo. Um, so I'm going to go kind of in the order that the direct went in, and I'm going to tell you when we hit anything that's actually new. Okay.
I currently
So
have the direct up on my other screen. Do you want me to put the video up on above our heads?
um maybe, I don't know. It's going to be I'm going to be going through it so fast. It's going to
Okay.
be hard to skip to where I'm talking about. Um so courses. There's going to be new courses. Of course there's going to be new courses. Mario Bros. Circuit, Crown City, Salty Salty Speedway, Starview Peak, Boo Cinema, which looks really cool. Toad's Factory, Peach Beach, Wario Shipyard, and it's going to have a bunch of old courses reimagined. And I don't
Okay.
know if old courses being reimagined means reskinned or like actually functionally different.
Can I tell you
Um,
the approach to Boo's Cinema looks extremely familiar to another map that they've released with the
oh, really?
Haunted Mansion vibe. Yeah.
Well, it's like a theater, and you like go through the screens, and then you're racing in the movie that you're like that's being projected, which I think is a cool idea.
Yeah.
Um, I do think that this game is going to have a fraction of the amount of courses that we saw in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And that's not even counting all of the DLC stuff that they've put out over the past couple years. I think if you take the base amount of levels that are on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe when it came out for the Switch, I think that's going to have more courses than this. Granted, these courses are interconnected in an open world, but I digress. Next is characters. We're going to get a bunch of random enemies as characters. So you're going to get to play as Goomba. You're going to get to play as Spike. You're going to get to play as Cow. Just the Cow. It's just called Cow. There's a lot of random enemies that are going to be playable. They also revealed, and I guess this is technically new, but it's more like confirmed, there is not going to be vehicle customization where you're choosing your cart and your wheels and your glider. There are going to be a bunch of pre-made vehicles that all still have different stats for speed, acceleration, blah, blah, blah. But there's not going to be the awkward conversation with your little nephew saying, "Which wheel should I pick? What does this mean? What is it?" It's like, no, just pick a car, pick a vehicle.
I
Which
mean,
I don't think is terrible.
yeah.
It's just it's a new piece of information that we got.
There are some people who really got crunchy about, let me see the stats of what this does and this does, and really wanted to tilt into this metric or to that metric. So like I can see how the customization part being lost could be somewhat of a disappointment to people, but I don't know if it's too much of a hindrance to the game.
The way it will be a negative to me is if the pre-made vehicles aren't balanced like to the T.
Yeah.
Because if there's one or two carts that are like
Ignore me.
the
Sorry.
best picks, every single race you do a week after the game comes out is going to be the same two carts, and it's going to be annoying.
Yeah.
Because even with customization, it was the same couple variants of carts that you would see when you played online. It's like people choose to get sweaty over the unsweatiest games, but I can't really bust their chops because I played Smash Brothers competitively. So, the next is the modes. So we got the Grand Prix mode, which is going to be a 4-course cup, like normal Mushroom Cup. You do 4 courses, but you are going to have to drive from course to course. To my knowledge, and according to this direct, the Grand Prix races are always going to require you to drive from course to course. Now, a lot of people have a lot of feelings about that because most of these roads from course to course are just mostly straightaways. So, I don't know. We're going to have to see how that one shakes out.
So I just saw a video of a guy hitting a ramp, opening up his wings and gliding off of the course and away towards something else. And that's where it cut. I wonder if it's allows you the open world exploration on still all have to appear at the raceway course like you had to in GTA, right? You could drive to where the course was and you had to show up for it for it to start.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see how that mechanic is.
Yeah,
Will
I
it be
think there'll
dull?
be some interesting shortcuts to
Yeah,
where if you're driving just right, it's a shorter path, but if you screw up, it's going to take longer. I don't know. There has to be some ways that they make that interesting other than it's just a 9-mile straightaway where you're getting hit by red shells.
yeah,
Um if you conquer, that's what they said, if you beat all the Grand Prix cups, a colorful level may appear, and it was a very, very thinly veiled reference to Rainbow Road because everybody said, "Oh, Rainbow Road, where's Rainbow Road? It's not on the map."
yeah,
Rainbow Road is going to get unlocked in some capacity after you've done all the Grand Prix Cups, which is cool, I
yeah.
think.
That's
More
really
unlockables, the
that's
better.
nice.
Knockout Tour is going to be where you race across multiple courses, and if you're in 18th place or below, your race is done. Then it's going to be 10th place or below, you're done. They covered that in the previous direct. That's
Yeah,
not new. A lot of this information that I've been going over is not new. Just little details of confirming things. The versus mode is where there's a little bit of interesting information here. Versus mode, you can choose to do a 3-lap race around one course, or you can choose a custom route between 3 different tracks across the open world. And you get to pick the 3 tracks. So in Grand Prix, when you're driving, the mushroom course is the same 4 courses. The fire flower cup is going to be the same 4 courses. Versus mode lets you do a custom race, a custom route between the courses, and that is a good idea. I think that's really cool. That keeps things fresh. It allows everything to be interconnected. That is a feat, I think, of coding and being able to have these courses interconnected and be able to kind of choose on the fly between this network of courses. That's a cool feature to me. Does it make the game worth $80? We'll see. We'll see. Items. There's new items.
yeah,
There's going to be a coin shell that throws coins, an ice flower, which is for all intents and purposes pretty much the same as the fire flower, but ice. Hammer Bros hammer, mega mushroom, a feather which allows you to jump up, Kamek which transforms you. All things that we saw, but they went over in this. Okay. New player features. They kind of were touting this as their accessibility options. Smart steering is making a return, so you know your son isn't driving off the cliff. Tilt controls, but new is rewind. You are going to be able to rewind time, and your character goes in reverse. So if you're trying to hit a ramp and you missed it, or there's a shortcut and you're like, oh, I wish I could have taken that, you can hit a button or a combination of buttons and you will rewind. Now, Forza Horizon 5, which they have taken a lot of inspiration from
This open
for multiple
driving,
things.
yeah.
So the rewind is going to be able to be used in live races and in multiplayer.
Oh.
And you are going to be able to rewind yourself, but everyone else continues at the rate that they are going at.
Ooh.
So
if you miss a shortcut jump and it is a significant shortcut, you could take the risk of rewinding yourself in hopes that you get caught back up to that jump.
yes.
That's a risk reward
My
program.
question is, what happens when you're in first place and the blue shell is above you and you hit rewind? That was my first thought. I'm like, so am I never getting hit by a blue shell again? Because it's me and you. We're
Yep.
not that far apart. The blue shell's coming. Rewind. Thanks for tanking that hit there, Corporal. And then, more importantly, what if you hit rewind right after I hit rewind? Now the blue shell's going in reverse?
Yep.
Are we creating a time paradox? Like, what's...
Oh, this could be
Questions.
interesting.
Questions.
I'm currently looking at the food that they offer.
I'm hungry. I'm so hungry.
Items.
Yeah, there is going to be, they're calling it dash food, and the dash food is going to unlock outfits inspired by your meal. So if you eat sushi, you're going to have a traditional Japanese, attire.
I don't understand what the fascination is with food changing your, but that's okay.
So it's going to change your stats as your racer. And it's also going, so if you're going and you eat some corn on the cob and now you've unlocked Farmer Mario, you now have Farmer Mario as an option to choose in your races from now on. You have unlocked Farmer Mario, and he has different stats than normal Mario. And you are now going to be able to choose him. So that is going to be how you unlock certain alternate versions of characters. So that was in the previous direct. So it's not really new news. They're just explaining it a little bit. The next part is as big of a deal. If it's going to work the way I think it's going to work, it's as big of a deal to Mario Kart as the open world mechanics.
Okay.
Charge jump. Charge jump. You're going to be able to hold down a button, and I don't know if it affects your speed, but you're going to kind of squat down and you charge it, and when you release it, your character is going to pop up off the ground. Their cart is going to pop up off the ground and do a trick. And you are going to be able to use this trick to do a couple things. You're going to be able to, it's going to be holding drift when you're not in a turn. So you're going to be able to do it when you're going straight. You hold drift, you squat down, and then you pop up. You're going to be able to pop up onto grind rails, which we've seen.
Yep.
You're going to be able to pop up onto walls. And from the direct, it looks like you can pop up onto any wall.
Yeah.
So if there is a high route, you can pop up, jump to the wall, and then trick off the wall to get to the high route. But most importantly, you can use the charge jump to avoid incoming items.
Ooh.
And that
So
is...
like a green shell coming at you, you pop jump up so it goes underneath you and keeps going.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe a red shell too.
But red
Can
shells
you
are supposed to be
imagine?
tracking.
I know, but red shells don't fly through the air. They stay on the ground.
Yeah.
So imagine, because Mario Kart is pretty much defined by you getting hit with random items. If somebody gets a red shell behind you, unless you have an item to play defensively, you're getting hit. Okay, so right now, let's say Mario Kart, right? The skill ceiling and floor are this far apart, right? You
Yeah.
learn to play, you get better, but the skill ceiling only goes up to here because no matter how good you are, items are still a
Yeah.
huge factor. Now imagine if you master this mechanic and you know the timings, that if you're good enough, you will never get hit by most of the items in the game. All of a sudden, the skill gap looks like this, right? And I don't know if it's going to work that way. If the red shells circle around you and hit you and still hit you, that point is null and void. If the red shells come up and hit you, or I don't know, it could be a bunch of different ways. But if it works as a timeable skill issue that you can use as a defensive option, that's huge, especially for the competitive scene. Which, yes, there is a competitive scene for Mario Kart.
I'm so curious about this rewind thing. Like
The rewind thing?
you get hit because somebody's in front of you and they pull out a banana and hold on to it. You get hit. You rewind and instead you just drift this way instead of that way. Like,
Well, getting hit by the banana, because they've shown that getting hit by items, which we talked about in the original direct, items aren't going to bring you to a full dead stop like they did. So I don't think there's going to be any utility for you get hit by something, you rewind, and then I think it's faster to just take the hit and continue
keep
on.
going.
I think rewind is mostly going to be around you missed a turn or you spotted a shortcut or an alternate route that you want to take, and you can rewind and go back to it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to have very limited utility outside of like exploring levels and testing things and possibly dodging blue shells. I think the charge jump is going to have a lot more implications as far as actual gameplay being affected and what you're doing. So the charge jump to me is the big meat part of this whole direct. This is a new mechanic. And I don't know why they didn't make a bigger deal out of it, but maybe it's just a bigger deal to me because
I
it's
just saw Mario get inside of an 18-wheeler and then he just like Metal Gear Solid, not metal, Twisted Metal style, just took over the road.
yeah. Yeah, that's a thing. They
Huh?
haven't really explained it. They just showed it in the original trailer and in this trailer, and it's
Yeah,
just like, okay, you're gonna do that. That's
that's
fine.
kind of cool. Yes.
um, miscellaneous time trials are coming back, of
Yay.
course. You're gonna have, because there's 24 racers now instead of 12 for team racing. I don't know if you ever messed around with team racing in Mario Kart 8, but you're gonna be able to do up to 4 teams for team racing, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Balloon battle and coin horde mode are coming back as battle items or battle modes. There's been no mention of 200cc in this game. And I just threw it in here because a lot of the community is like, they showed people setting up matches and they did not show 200cc anywhere. So maybe it's an update. Maybe it's something you have to unlock. I think it's probably something you have to unlock.
Yeah, I have to see it highly unlikely.
Yeah, I think it's an unlock. The other kind of big thing is in free roam mode. They did confirm that they're going to have hidden coins and little find Easter egg things, but they're also going to have P switches. And the
yeah.
P switches, you hit them, and now you have 10 seconds to collect 6 blue coins to unlock something. And they said there are hundreds of these P switches scattered throughout the open world, and they all start missions to either get to somewhere in time, to complete a challenge, to do something.
Ooh, that's cool.
So that is super cool.
I
That
just
gives you a
saw
reason to go into free range mode.
I just saw
free roam
one
mode.
where Toad was riding, had to do a jump onto a wall, and then do another jump off, hit the P switch. So like some of these things aren't just like easily there. You're gonna have to do tricks in order to get to them.
Yeah, I think the people who are completionists
Yeah.
are gonna have a field day with these P switches, because if there's hundreds of them, I mean, they're gonna be like Korok seeds all over again.
Yeah.
But maybe fun. So free roam mode got that, which validates free roam mode aside from just cruising around. 4-player split screen multiplayer was confirmed. You can do local wireless play with people. That's another thing that's kind of like basic feature, but they had to say it.
Yeah.
24-player online play. We knew that. Free roam. Again, these are a lot of things that was in the original trailer that they're just like explaining into a little bit more detail. Free roam mode. So when we're, in the old lobbies, it would be all of us awkwardly standing on like the planet Earth saying, I'm using tilt controls. I'm using tilt controls.
Yeah.
You're going to be put into free roam mode while your lobby is populating or while you're waiting for your friends to get online to race, which
That's
is super
cool.
cool. That's like
Yeah.
a very nice little modern touch that will make a big difference. If you have the camera, you can turn on game chat and you will see your friends' faces in real time above their racers
Yeah.
in the race and in the placements,
And
which
if you
I
hit
think,
them with a shell, their head does a tumble on top
yeah, and you see them go.
of them.
So I think that's cool. I don't think it validates the price of the camera, which again
No.
just went up. Hold on, I'm gonna pull the price of the camera real quick because this is relevant. The camera, where is it? Up $55. That's not terrible, but given
Kinda
that it's
pricey.
probably only gonna be compatible with the Switch, that's a lot
Yeah.
for a Switch only accessory. Um, what else? The camera is going to be able to detect up to 4 faces. So if we're playing online with 4 people and we have a camera, that camera is going to individually be able to pick out 4 faces and put them on the online features,
That's cool.
which is cool. That's going to be cool if it's like
I wonder
my
how it's
household
going to be able
is
to
playing with
tell.
your household.
I wonder if it's going to be able to tell who is assigned to, like, you're going to have to be like, wait, no, that's my head. Move over here. Like,
Yeah. I think you can like assign it like
yeah.
by color where it's like this is the face, that's the face. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Um and that's it. Uh so we had the charge jump being the new mechanic, the open world having P switches, and the ability to choose custom races in versus mode. And that's kind of it. It really could have been an email. Like,
Yeah.
these are all things that would have extended the original direct by like 2 minutes. 90% of it was fluff. And my side quest is, does any of this validate it being an $80 game
None
to
of
you?
this. None of this. This just validated that it's a new Mario. I
Yeah, this is
honestly,
standard stuff that you would hope they would bring to the table after
after
10
10
years
years,
of
yeah.
not of just re-releasing DLC packs of old levels from older
Yeah.
games. This is what we expected. The open world thing is a big deal. That's
It's
the thing.
huge. It is the only thing that gives any validation. But then why not stick to the $70 price tag that they did for Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah. I
I
don't
don't
see
know.
anything
It's
here that validates $80. Aside, I'll tell you the one thing that couldn't be in this direct but would validate the $80 price tag. And Nintendo, I think, is banking on this, and I think this is a very dangerous gamble for them. Why did I buy Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? Because all my friends have it, and they all pressured me into getting it. Am I going to get Mario Kart World because I am dying to explore the open world or dodge shells with the charge jump? No. The only reason I am getting Mario Kart World is to play with my friends. And I would say that most of my friends are only going to be getting Mario Kart World to play with me and the rest of our friend group. And I would say that logic extends down to people of all ages, children, parents, everything. But if everybody looks at each other and says, shit's $80, you getting it? Nah, I think I'm going to wait. That is a death sentence for the game and therefore a death sentence for the Switch too.
I
It's very, they're making a huge gamble, and as much faith as I have in Nintendo to do Nintendo magic, I am a little worried. I'm a little worried
yeah.
because I'm probably going to get the Switch 2 Mario Kart bundle when it comes out, but I'm not 100% locked in.
No. Nope.
Especially because it's like this, Donkey Kong, and Metroid Prime 4. And Metroid Prime 4 is coming out on the base Switch. And if I really want to play it, I'll get it on that. Donkey Kong's coming out in the summer. I really might wait and see. And if everybody says, oh my God, Mario Kart World is crack, you need it, it's the best racing game ever, and then all my friends are like, oh yeah, we caved and got it, then I'll get it. But if everybody waits, they're going to be in a pickle.
I'm waiting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean, the also the economy and tariffs and like the state of the world, which is not Nintendo's fault,
no.
is also a huge factor. It is not a good time in the United States to be launching an expensive console with expensive games when the cost of your competitors is going down, because you can get a PS5 for cheaper than you can get a Nintendo Switch 2, and the PS5 is going to run circles around it performance wise.
Yep.
And why do you get Nintendo consoles? To play Nintendo games. But in this case, it's more like to play Nintendo game singular.
I mean,
So
the Nintendo ecosystem will still be there, which is fine, I suppose. It's not, I think.
yeah, I mean, I think they needed to come out with a stronger starting lineup, and they needed to make Mario Kart their console seller. And this would be if this was a $60 game, I would be singing its praises. But that $80 price tag really makes it hard to be enthusiastic. Every time I think about this game, there's it's the asterisk, it's the caveat, but it's $80. Oh,
Not for me.
so I don't know. Nintendads might be talking about Monster Hunter and indie games for the next 6 months while y'all are playing Mario Kart. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yep. All right. That's all we got. I'll be back on Tuesday streaming some Monster Hunter.
Oh, look, we're at 53 minutes.
We kept our word. I don't know. Maybe we'll be streaming. Maybe this time next week we'll be streaming Baldur's Gate 3
Maybe.
shenanigans. Could be. I don't know. Stay tuned to find out. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace out.